Sorry. I need I need a minute. I need a minute. I need a minute badly. Man, I still got this thing recording, but I don't care. I don't care. We still gotta do it. What? That was a game of basketball, most definitely for sure. Most definitely. I'm glad we won it, obviously. 3 O's. The 3-0 lead's a 3-0 lead, but at the same time, I mean, it it could have been a lot less stressful than what we just witnessed, but it's the NBA Finals, so I'll take anything that I can get. So yeah, Boston Celtics one win away from their first Finals chip since '08, as they get a 106-99 win over the Dallas Mavericks in Dallas. Dallas obviously had the huge rally to almost come back down 20 plus points in the fourth no in the fourth quarter to to almost win that game. It was very winnable, actually, down by just three. Obviously, Kyrie hit the three to make it a 3 point game with a good amount of time remaining, but still during crunch time. But clutch buckets from Derek White. Obviously, he hit the three to make it a 6 point game. Um, Tatum got a bucket. Brown had a clutch bucket too as well in isolation with a minute left remaining to make it a 4 point game. And that was pretty much that. A few defensive stops here and there. Obviously, you had the Al Horford clamps on Kyrie when he was trying to do the sidestep three on the wing to bring it closer, but that didn't go. Celtics try to get the rebound. Derek White got fouled by PJ Washington, and he went to the line as well. And that was pretty much it for game three. Um, Huge takeaways, I guess, we'll start off with the Mavs, their comeback. I'm sorry, but my brain's fried, man. My brain's fried. I mean, White, he hit the three to make it a 91-70 point game with 11 minutes remaining in the fourth. Mavs called a timeout, and from that moment, I was just in cruise control. I was like, okay, it's gonna be a blowout win. Cool. We're gonna make it a 3-0 series lead. Series is gonna be pretty much over, and yeah, that's that great win. But obviously, Dallas, they made it interesting. PJ Washington hit the three right after that, and then Luka, being Luka, he obviously had a few clutch plays as well to bring the lead within 11. And then from then on out, Kyrie started getting into it, and for the Celtics, it was just a bunch of very poor shots. It was a lot reminiscent of the old Celtics, which I did not like that at all. From the Brown taking multiple pull up threes in transition, I didn't like that. Tatum being very conservative with his shot selection, settling for jumpers. The Holiday transition three was atrocious. I did not like that at all. Just very poor plays from Boston down the stretch. But when it came down to it, Luka, he got the sixth foul on the blocking foul when he was trying to get a charge on Jaylen Brown. Went through the coaches challenge. Obviously, they got denied, and Luka got the sixth. And with that, including again clutch plays from Boston on both ends, we were able to wrap it up for for game three. And I was so pissed during the game because it was just It was just very low IQ. I mean, the whole premise of this season was just team basketball, movement on offense. Look for the best shot on the floor, and the main reason why Dallas was able to come back, other than just many lapses of effort defensively, was us just settling for contested threes. I understand that we're an analytical team. We're mainly a 3-point shooting team. We live by the three and die by the three. We live off efficient shots. But the shots we took in that fourth quarter were horrible shots. They weren't the shots that we've been taking this entire year. And so it was just inexcusable to let this Mavs team come back like that. I don't care that they got Luka. I don't care that they got Kyrie. Both of them had a great night offensively too. Finally, they both had a great night offensively for the first time in this final so far, but it wasn't enough. But they were still great together offensively. Mavs role players, they really didn't do that much, but just the utter incompetence to allow that game to be as close as it was inexcusable for how much talent this team has. But at the end of the day, we're up 3 games to none. We pulled it off in the end, and we can wrap up the series this Friday in Dallas to win the finals. So obviously, you don't take these wins in the finals for granted. So I'm gonna enjoy this win. I'm gonna calm down after I make this episode, and when it's like finally edited, all that stuff's been figured out with the computer, what they gotta do with the computer. And yeah, I'll celebrate and look ahead towards game 4. And I'm hoping for a much better effort, especially in crunch time for this Boston team, which I believe they will in game 4. But yeah, again, we're up 3 games to none. No matter how irritating the process might have been to get to said 3 games. Yeah. Looking at individual performances, I just want to give a huge shout out to the bench. The bench to start off, I think defensively, all 3 of them, Tillman, Hauser, and Pritchard, in their minutes were phenomenal. Tillman especially, man, off the switches, which compared to games 1 and 2, we allowed the bigs in Horford and Tillman, both of them, to take on the assignment of guarding Luka and Kyrie 1v1 on the perimeter, trying to deny them from scoring. And I think the two in Tillman and Horford were great today for what they were given. I mean, just nonstop shuffling of the feet, staying with it, making the shots uncomfortable, not having as much dribble penetration as they would like to have. It was just a great effort from them. Pritchard, again, another solid defensive effort. The switches on Kyrie, staying onto him, making the shots difficult, giving him no airspace. Same as Hauser, he switches on Luka, which we saw that in game 1. We saw the same thing in game 3 as well. Just an overall great defensive effort. And I want to keep begging on defense for the entire team, really, because that was the main reason why we were able to pull it out when, the lack of not aggression, but the lack of focus defensively was picked right back up. We were able to defend better. We were able to guard the corners better, which they were able to, Dallas, get a lot of those open looks, which that was the whole main point of our scheme defensively, was to not allow those cornered open threes, which PJ Washington, the other Mavs role players too, they got allowed those looks. But just for Holiday, White, and the rest, obviously, for them to bank on that and get stops when needed when the shot was obviously not falling, and our offense in general was very poor. For us to bounce back from the Mavs trying to make a massive comeback to extend the series, for us to put out those fires, and again allow them to under 100 points, which we have done for all three games of this series. Great effort. Nothing more I can say from that. Oh, and shout out to Sam House for getting a shot back. Those three threes were much needed. 3 or 4 from the field. Thank you, Sam Hauser, for getting a shot back together. We greatly missed that for a bench that is not the most offensively skilled. Thank you, Sam. And also for Xavier Tillman, the corner three. I was lit. I was lit at the house when that happened. And the bench was also lit too. His first three attempted in the entire playoffs, splash, winding down, the shot clock winding down as well. Big, much needed bucket in that situation. So, salute to Tillman, one of the biggest X factors to why we won this game. Thank you, my brother. Tatum, it's his best shooting night this series by far, but again, it wasn't a great shooting night. Although 31 points is solid, 26 shots, 4 of 13 from three. I did not like that at all. Just a complete difference from in the first half getting to the rim, trying to look for easy baskets near the dunker spot. To the second half, just a bunch of settling open shots from three, especially on the the mismatches, with the bigs and Lively and Gafford, which it's been a problem this whole series. But just to not even attempt to settle for the step back three, settle for those contested jump shots, that it was dreadful to watch. It was really dreadful. A bunch of low IQ shots, making the Mavericks defense, which they've had a rough time guarding us too as well, this entire series, just to allow them to have easy breaks and get more possessions as a unit, to get more quality possessions for themselves. And for us, it's a bunch of trash possessions, letting the Mavs hang around, letting them cut the deficit more and more was not a good look at all. And that goes for Derek White, Drew Holiday, and basically the entire starting five down the stretch. It was a very poor sign of low IQ from the entire unit. I was very disappointed. I'm gonna continue to harp on that because we shouldn't have been even like it shouldn't have even been that close to begin with. There was zero reason to. We almost let them off the hook. We almost had them come back from 19 down to win game three and cut the deficit to 2-1. And who knows with Porzingis' health if he could even play for games 4, maybe even game 5 down the line. Who knows? But at the same time, it's a bunch of what ifs. And again, it's a bunch of passive aggressive stuff for me, but I'm still happy. I'm still happy at the end of the day because with all of our poor play, we played a C game for our standards. We still pulled off the win. And what else can you? What more can you say about that? I mean, just yeah, my brain's still fried. Excuse me, it's still fried, but I don't care. We're one win away from winning the finals. It's gonna be the first time as a Celtics fan I've experienced a team to win a championship. If we do beat them on Friday or game 5, game 6, I don't really care. But it's gonna be the first time I'll experience that in my lifetime. So the emotions are gonna be high. Obviously, they're gonna be high, and hey, I just want them to wrap it up by Friday. That's the least they could do for myself and the rest of the Boston Celtic fan base. So yeah. For Dallas, I said this before, but Luka and Kyrie, they were very good offensively, had their best series together by far. Just lots of open shots, lots of dribble penetration inside. Very efficient, not turning the ball over as well. Only had 5 turnovers combined, which for the entire Mavs unit, specifically Kyrie. That was a huge problem for them in this series. But for them to clean it up in game 3 and to give the Mavs a fighter's chance to pull it off, even with the huge deficit, was huge. Other than that, from the rest of the role players, again, non-existent. Although Lively, he had a big game. He stepped up offensively, took advantage of the the lesser sized players without Porzingis, especially was able to get a few open dunks in the paint, uncontested dunks. Gafford did as well too, but the rest of the Mavs roster was basically non-existent. I mean, PJ Washington, he had 13 points, shot 3 for 9, 3 or 6 from 3. Okay. Derrick Jones Jr., and this is why he only got 16 minutes. 2 points, 1 of 2 from the field. Completely anemic. Completely anemic. And for the Celtics, they stuck with that game plan on defense. Just whenever Derrick Jones Jr. has the ball, we don't give a damn. We are testing him to shoot the open shots. Even if he's a screener in the pick and roll action with the dribble handoffs, we do not care about Derrick Jones. All we care about is focusing on Luka and Kyrie, making them waste as much energy as they can, and we'll live with the rest. If the Mavs players, when given the ball, when they have these looks, if they hit their open shots, okay, we'll live with that at the end of the day because they're not Luka and Kyrie. But they haven't done that this whole series. And you can just go down this rotation, and it's just a bunch of nothing. Maxi Kleber, he had 8 minutes, only shot 0 for 2 from the field, was completely invisible, excuse me. Minus 13 plus minus. The play when he got his shot packed by Jaylen Brown and he lost the ball, and obviously they turned the ball over, Boston possession. That's just a microcosm for how bad Maxi Kleber has been this series. Other players too. Why did Tim Hardaway Jr. got 19 minutes? He shot 0 for 5, had 0 points. Obviously, just completely invisible. Here's my thing with Tim Hardaway Jr. For Jason Kidd, if you want some more offensive firepower, if you want to go with a code red option, I would just give Jaden Hardy the minutes. I would just give Jaden Hardy more minutes because even though THJ and Hardy, they're both pretty much the same player, bunch of volume scorers. At least with Hardy, I'm getting more athleticism when we're going up against the Celtics, who are just uber athletic throughout all 5 spots. Not really Horford, but he's still not a cone. But just the athleticism, and again, if we have to choose between Hardaway Jr. and Jaden Hardy, I go with Jaden Hardy because he's more athletic than Tim Hardaway Jr. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. is mainly a jump shooter. If the jump shot's not falling, then what else can he do? Nothing. And he's already a cone defensively, which they took advantage of when he was on the court throughout the whole game when he had his minutes. I remember the Tatum drive he had on Hardaway blew by him quite easily. So it's I didn't understand that getting him that many minutes. And you look throughout, Josh Green, he had 22, bunch of just nothing really offensively. Dante Exum, he boomed on Tatum, had his only points of the game. That was his only bucket, but 3 minutes. Again, nothing. And when you're going up against the Celtics team, who even got bench production, and they already have the best starting 5, arguably the best starting 5 this season, even in recent memory. You have so many players in this rotation be complete no-shows, complete piss down their legs against a much better opponent who have literally every single advantage against you, except for having the best player in the series in Luka. It's not a winning formula at all. And whatever Luka and Kyrie can do, great, that's fine. They're Luka and Kyrie. They're the best offensive backcourt in this league right now. But if you're getting absolutely nothing from your role players, if they're not hitting shots, if they're timid to hit their shots, if they're passing the ball up, not looking to shoot the ball, not looking to be aggressive, not looking to do anything offensively, and giving most of the workload to Luka and Kyrie, you're already at a massive disadvantage in an offense that is very ISO heavy, heliocentric, and if your two guys need buckets from the role players and they're not giving them to you, you're screwed. You are completely screwed. And that's one of the reasons why they have this huge deficit. That's one of the reasons why for this series, when Boston is truly locked in throughout, it hasn't been close. It hasn't been close. Has it? Jason Kidd can plug whoever. Jason Kidd can run all of these schemes, which the adjustment to pack the paint and force the Celtics to take a bunch of contested shots was huge for the Spanish team to come back. But other than that, like there's nothing much you can do. Nothing much, and there's nothing much. Well, when you can do when you have Luka, who is a complete cone. He's a cone on defense. He has been a cone this entire series. Literally every single time this man gets blown by the guy who he's supposed to defend throughout game one, throughout game two, throughout game three. If the guy penetrates to the paint, that's an easy kick out and at least an open shot. Every single time, nearly every single time. And I'm not a Luka hater. And I understand that he's pretty much he has been on a one-man mission this entire finals. He's had relatively no hope outside of Kyrie in this game three in his entire finals at all. But defensively, when the Mavs are already as not capable of guarding these Celtics shooters, this entire offense, if they're not capable of guarding them at all, when you have a guy who is not committed defensively, when you have a guy who continuously shows poor effort on the defensive side of the ball, look, I do not give a damn how great he is on offense. You're cooked. And Luka, his defense is one of the biggest reasons why they are down 3-0. I am sorry. You can throw all of his numbers at me offensively, but this man has been a complete cone. That entire fourth quarter, he wasn't even in foul trouble to start it off, but just a bunch of dumb fouls. Obviously, you had the 6-1 on Jaylen Brown trying to guard him in transition. He obviously couldn't. He tried to get the charge, got a 6 foul, went out the game. The play he had in the post, the one that got him his fifth, not being able to slow down JB in the post guarding him, mind-numbingly bad foul. Just a bunch of low IQ, basically poor effort defensive plays. Super low effort. Horribly bad low effort. Again, I'm not a Luka hater, but you can't deny what we're seeing on the court. That's why for most of this series, Boston has had a ton of open looks because of the personnel and because of Luka's poor defensive game. That's why. Like, like, do you, why can we not ask this man to slide his feet? Why can we not ask this man to give a little bit of effort defensively? Why? I understand Luka is the main vocal point of this team. He's the main reason why they're still in these games. But he's also the main reason why Boston can let off a bunch of open shots. He's the main reason why the Celtics can get off to these very fast starts, these very efficient runs. It's because of Luka's poor defensive game. I don't know. I don't know. There's nothing more you can do. I mean, you had the great Luka and Kyrie game. You had the Celtics poor IQ game down the stretch, all in game three, and you still weren't able to pull it off at home. Like, there's nothing more you can do, and it's over. It's over. It's pretty much over. Going up 25-12 in the first quarter. Maybe, with Porzingis being out too as well, maybe this game will be a little bit different. No. Boston was able to run off a 13 to nothing run, and they had the lead in the early second. They were down by one in the first after the first quarter ended with poor defensive effort, and basically nobody outside of Jason Tatum scoring the ball. Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough, and who knows, in the near future they're gonna make some adjustments this offseason and beyond. But when you're going up against a team like this in the Celtics, when they have more size, more athleticism, more overall talent, it's a huge disadvantage. You had in the first round against the Clippers, you had a banged up team. You had a team that had easier advantages to take care of. Second round, you went up against an inexperienced Thunder team. Was high on the Thunder team, but obviously you had a lot of areas with OKC to exploit. Same with the conference finals. They took advantage of the the lack of defensive movement on the perimeter with the two bigs and Gobert and Cat, as well as the lack of offensive firepower that Minnesota has as well too. So out of all the opponents in the Mavs postseason run this year, Boston is pretty much the most unbeatable. It's called spade a spade. And I'm going to continue to harp on the people that were saying Mavs in 6 and 7, because when you look at both the teams from a pure talent perspective, yes, they have the best player in the series in Luka Doncic, but you look throughout this roster, and the Celtics are clearly the better team, which is making for a pretty boring finals as a neutral. Although these last two have been actually good watches, largely on our behalf, but yeah. I mean, there's nothing more I can say here. Game 4 this Friday, Boston. Hey, don't screw up in the fourth. Please don't take bad shots. Play smart basketball down the stretch. For Tatum and Brown, do not settle for jump shots. Do not settle for contested jump shots. The mass defenders cannot guard you. They can't guard you. If you can just go downhill time after time again and just use your playmaking, which y'all displayed that beautifully throughout the series, getting wide open guys, wide open looks, looking for open shooters. Keep swinging the ball when the shot's not there around the rim. Just keep doing the same thing, and we're gonna beat them on Friday with ease. The series is gonna be over. Just mind state. It's just the mind state here. And for Dallas, what else can you do? Like, these last two have been very winnable games. and now you're down 3-0, even with Game 3 being out. What else can you do? Yeah. But if I'm just gonna wrap it up here. But if you guys are still watching, thank you guys so much. Please leave a like and comment on this video. Share this video as well with your friends. That would be greatly appreciated. Follow us on all social media platforms: YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, all at the handle at Lunch from Debates. We are less than 30 followers away on YouTube here. So if we can hit that by the end of next week, that would be greatly appreciated. But until then, later, y'all. Game 4, I'll be here on Friday, hopefully. And also, hopefully, Boston will wrap this series up. But again, until then, peace.